Hey, hello.
Hello.
How's the audio? Everything's okay? How's it going?
Everything's good.
Okay, so let's we can begin.
Sure.
And let's start with the fact that Flotsam and Jetsam had been around for 42 years already. You've created an iconic albums that every thrash metal fans should know. What keeps you motivating to keep creating? How you manage not to lose that passion that drives you from the very beginnings?
Um, well, it's a good question. There are a lot of things to curb the passion. A lot of music industry red tape and a bunch of crap that is really not worth it. But my favorite thing in the world is to be in the studio creating, um, followed by playing live in front of fans who love our music. So those two things will keep me going forever.
And over the past few years, Flotsam and Jetsam has been treating thrash metal fans to some great music because we have I Am the Weapon, Blood in the Water, The End of Chaos, Flotsam and Jetsam. All these albums have been praised both by critics and fans. What direction did you take this time on the new album?
Our goal every time is to make the new album better than the one before. So that was really our only objective, is to not make an album that was worse than I Am the Weapon. So it's it's a lot of stress and a lot of hard work, but my the writing team I have right now is just ridiculous. Those guys can write anything, and makes my job very easy.
And how would you compare musically this album, this new album, Rats in the Temple, to I Am the Weapon?
I would say it's a little more melodic, maybe, but there's still a lot of aggression in this one. There's the guys in the band are just relentless players, and they act like they have something to prove, even though they really don't. Um, I think it's just the next step up. Um, Starting with the Flotsam and Jetsam album, I think we've taken a step up every time, and I think this one just takes one more step up. Hopefully, the next one will do the same.
And you've been with IFM Records for the past few years. What led to Rats in the Temple being released under Napalm Records?
AFM decided they weren't going to make any more new albums with anyone. So if we wanted to make a new album, we had to go somewhere else. And Napalm was one of the first and one of the best offers we had. So we went with them. Been um, we've always been curious about Napalm Records, and they've got a lot of good bands on their list. So it was kind of a no brainer. They offered us a little better deal than anyone else, and so far they work really hard for us. So that's a nice change.
And even though you have landmark albums in your discography, you describe new album as our best effort to date. Do you still stand by this statement?
I think so. It's kind of hard to beat those first two because they're everybody's favorites. But as far as production and writing skills and just the kind of the direction we went, I really think that these last four or five albums have been some of our best work. And like I said, we try to step it up a notch every time.
And when did you actually start working on the material that became Rats in the Temple?
I believe we worked on it for about 3, 4 months total. A couple of the songs were left over from I Am the Weapon that didn't make it to the record, and we revamped those and kind of rewrote them. But most of it is all brand new songs. And, like I said, it's one of my favorite things to do on the planet is to be in the studio creating. So it's always a joy to do that.
And did you change anything about the way you work compared to I Am the Weapon?
It gets a little easier every time. Like I said, this lineup of writers I have right now just makes my job so easy. The song is basically almost done when I get it. And all I have to do is listen to it and see what kind of vibe I get from it, what kind of feeling I get from just the music alone, and that sends me in a good lyrical direction.
And even though the band has quite a few outstanding musicians come and go over the years, you say that the band's current lineup is the strongest ever. What makes this lineup so special?
I think it's experience. Um, Everybody in the band has a lot of recording and touring and music industry experience, and we all know kind of how to use that experience now. Um, the earlier lineups were great writers and great guys, but they didn't quite have the experience of the guys I have now. And it just shows a little bit more. Um, some of the earlier lineups I've been with are some of the greatest musicians I've ever met. So I can't take anything away from them. So I think the real only difference is that these guys are all professionals. They're all veterans in the music industry, and it just shows a little bit more than previous lineups.
And while we're on the subject of best things, is Rats in the Temple Andy Pilkington's best work, best artwork for Flotsam and Jetsam?
Yeah, Andy's a great guy. He's not only a huge Flotsam fan, but he's so easy to work with. We give him lyrics for a couple of key songs and a couple of ideas and just leave him alone, and he comes back with something almost exactly what we wanted. And it's been the same thing every time. I think he just kind of links with us as far as what our ideas are and what his ideas are. And it's a pretty easy process.
And once again, the highly experienced Jakob Hansen, with whom you've been collaborating since the end of Chaos, is responsible for the final sound of the album. Is he the person who perfectly understands what Flotsam and Jetsam is meant to be?
Um, I don't know if he understands exactly what Flotsam is supposed to be, but he has a specific sound to his mixing and his mastering that really appealed to us. And as long as he keeps doing that same type of thing, I think we're pretty happy with him. So when something works, you don't mess with it.
And you've promoted the new album with the singles Rats in the Temple and Harvesting the Hate. Why did you choose these particular songs?
I think they're just a couple of the more epic songs on the record. They both have a little bit of drama in their writing. They have a little bit of thinking lyrics. You have to think about what they mean. Um, it was really kind of wasn't an easy decision because we could have done singles on almost any song on the record, but those two are the ones that the whole band could agree on. We all list like 5 songs we'd like to be the first singles, and those were the only 2 that everybody listed. So that's a pretty good no brainer for for picking singles. And the label, of course, picked those also.
And are we gonna hear any more or songs before the album premiere?
I believe there will be one more. I don't remember which song it is at the moment, but I think there'll be one more single before the album actually comes out.
And the album Rats in the Temple features some cinematic orchestrations. Who is responsible for this element?
Oh, for the like the videos?
No, for the orchestrations,
Oh, Ken Mary did most of that. He just, we talk about the songs once we get them to a certain point, and he said, I think this one needs, some kind of a dramatic buildup, or this piece right here needs a little bit of some more movie soundtrack type of sound to it. And so we just let him run with it, and he's really good at that stuff. He's an amazing producer and super talented guy. So we just kind of let him run with that stuff. If there's anything we want changed, he has no problem changing it. But he's very good at that.
And in both music videos, Lance Gergar makes use of the latest technology. So, what do you think about the AI, which is being used more and more in the music business?
There are just a couple of 1 second spots in those videos that are AI, and the rest of it is either filmed footage or green screen kind of stuff. And you can either fight AI or you can learn how to use it. There's no other way to go about it. And I don't think AI is going to go away. So it's learn how to use it, and learn how to use it to where it doesn't take the creativity out of it. The AI spots we used in the videos, they were ideas that we already had or that Lance already had. And it's either spend a bunch of money and film those ideas or just throw them in AI and see what he can do. So, AI just came up with a few seconds of stuff here and there that fulfilled our ideas that we had that we wanted to do anyway.
And what do you think about the bands that use AI to create music?
They're going to get themselves in some trouble. You have to be able to recreate that stuff live. So if you're doing something in AI or you're writing songs in AI, if you don't understand the song structure and why and how you got there, you're going to be in trouble when you have to go write songs without it. So AI can be dangerous, but it's a very easy tool to use. It makes the world go a little faster. So it's, right now, the only thing AI can't do is live performance. But eventually, holograms will be good enough to where AI can do that also. And then we'll all be out of jobs. But I've heard some AI songs that were written very, very well. AI combined some of the best songwriters on the planet and puts them all together into one song. How can you go wrong, But if you have to recreate that or you have to write it yourself and you want it to be just as good as AI, who uses everybody, it's, you can get yourself into some trouble that way. So you have to be very selective about what you use on AI. We didn't use any on the actual recordings or the record. And we didn't think it was going to be any harm to use a tiny bit on the video here and there.
And this year's marks the 40th anniversary of your legendary debut album. How do you remember the recording process? Because it was recorded very, very quick.
It was recorded very quick, and we were young kids, and we thought we were about to embark on on an adventure of ruling the world. I had visions of a different colored Lamborghini for every day of the week. It was it's really kind of funny what you think is going to happen, or what you wish is going to happen, and what actually happens. Um, you get your face knocked in the dirt a few times, and reality comes around and hits you pretty hard. But once you accept that and realize that that's not really what goes on, you're not going to be Van Halen overnight. You're not going to be, Led Zeppelin. It's just not going to happen. But you can certainly, make it a great career and a lot of memories if you just keep going and roll with the punches.
And are there any like mistakes, little mishaps that you hear now on the debut album as an experienced musician that you hear and you think to yourself, oh, I would change that?
I'm not a huge fan of the production of the first couple of records. The third record is the worst production ever, but the songs are there. The songs they were written with a lot of drive and hunger from this band. And, you have to try to keep that drive and hunger going in order to make new records that are even, measurable to those two. So that's kind of where we're at now. We're trying to keep that drive and hunger the way we had on the first two records.
And are there any plans to celebrate the 40th anniversary of the debut album?
Not really. Everybody that we'd like to celebrate with is pretty busy. Newstead's pretty busy. We've talked to him. He's just like, that's great. 40 years, amazing. But he's out doing some touring stuff right now. He's writing some new material for himself, and he really doesn't have the time or the energy to come, do some weird thing with us. But and a couple of the players from back then probably would not be able to, or be willing to do any kind of show with us for the anniversary. So I'm excited about it being 40 years old, but I think we're going to concentrate on the future more than the past.
So you're not gonna play, for example, like the entire album for few of the shows.
We've done that before for a couple of shows. It was pretty cool. I think on this next tour we have one show that they want the whole No Place record. So we're gonna do that, but we really haven't. Me and Mike Gilbert and I are the only ones left in the band from the original lineup. So both of us would rather just concentrate on the future, but you never know. Maybe at 45 years we'll do something crazy.
Yeah, the new album is like a pedal to the metal, so no complaint here.
Good, good.
And in November, you're returning to Poland for a concert as a part of the winter tour. What can you expect from this show? What you have in store for the Polish fans this time?
We're gonna do some of the new stuff. Um, a lot of songs from the last 4 or 5 records. I think we're starting to try to weed out some of the older songs. We've been playing them for so long, it's unbelievable. So we really need to push the newer records, and we're probably going to put more of that stuff in the set list. There's a couple of songs from the first two records that we have to play, or people just get angry. So we'll always have those, a couple of songs in there, but we really want to push the new records, and it's hard to pick a set list. We've got 180 something songs altogether, and it's hard to decide what's the best for the audience and what we like to play. We have to kind of balance that out.
And do you already know which songs from the new album or how many new songs from the new album are you gonna play? Have you talked about this?
Not yet. We've run through Rats in the Temple a couple times in rehearsal, so that will probably be one of them. Um, more than likely Harvesting the Hate. We really haven't decided yet, but a lot of times when we're picking a set list, we go by, what YouTube videos have the most views, and we're like, we should probably play those because those are the ones that are liked the most. So we'll see what happens. The last 2, 3 records, I could pick any song off of those records, and I'd be happy playing them live. So it's just a matter of what the crowd wants, what the fans want, and we'll see. I always check somebody, of course, will always post on Facebook or YouTube the entire album as soon as it comes out, and then we see how many likes it gets, a couple months later, and then we'll know. So I don't know. This one's gonna be a little strange. We're probably gonna try to mix it up as much as we can.
And why did you choose Goleniów City of all places? I've been to Rampa Kultura a few times, so I have nothing but good things to say about this place. It's awesome. But what did the guys from Rock Hard Ride 3 do to win you over?
Well, as far as where we play, we get messages from the agent that says, "Hey, this person offered this much and this person offered this." We don't really make a choice on that stuff too much. Whoever offers us the most money and it's in the path of our tour, and um, we can get enough people there, really doesn't matter where we play.
And what are your overall impressions of your previous visits to our country? For example, our chief editor had the opportunity to visit Krakow in 2017.
Um, my only problem with Poland is that I left there so drunk every time. I really don't remember anything. Every time we play there, people are coming up, "Hey, this is our homemade hooch. You got to try it." Next thing you know, I have no idea who I am or where I am. So, but the Polish people are very cool, very nice, very strong metal fans. They really love their music, and we'll never turn down a Poland show because it's always a good time, always.
And recently, Ken Mary joined Metal Church. Do we need to worry about the scheduling conflicts, or have you talked about this beforehand?
There are a few scheduling conflicts, but you know, either us or Metal Church will just have somebody else fill in. Um, Ken's going to be a busy boy for a while. He's doing a lot of projects. Um, you know, Fifth Angel's calling him every other day too, saying, "Do you have any time for this? Do you have any time for that?" So he's just a busy guy. He's played with everybody on the planet, so we're not too worried about it. We have some great fill-in drummers if we need them. Um, I'm sure Metal Church does too. Those guys are all great guys, and we're not really worried about it. I don't think Metal Church is really worried about it either. Um, Ken is just an animal on drums. I mean, he's ridiculous. So it's hard to find someone who's good enough to not disappoint. At least the drumming fans of FLOTSAM or Metal Church, but there are a few guys out there, and I'm sure they'll be glad to jump in and hang on with us.
And this is all that I have prepared. So thank you very much for your time and Finally, could you share a few words with our readers, with our Polish fans? Maybe encourage them to check out the new album and, of course, visit Goleniów.
I believe this album is going to do very well in the charts and reviews. Done a lot of interviews, and people are very excited about it, and we are very excited about it also. Um, you know, it's not going to be the end of Flotsam. It's not going to be our last record, I would imagine. So there will be more, but you got to hear everything. You just have to. I would encourage anyone who's never really heard us before to start at the new album and work your way backwards. And that I think that would be the best way, really, to hear the entire Flotsam career.
And again, thank you for your time and have a blast during other interviews because you have some scheduling.
Oh yeah,
Okay,
a
so
lot of
again,
interviews.
okay, so again, maybe also you can say something about Polish concerts. Maybe at the end invite fans to visit Goleniów Rock City and Rampa Kultura.
You know, anytime you see Flotsam playing anywhere near Poland, just go because we're gonna have a great time. We love the Polish fans, and you know, a tour would not be the same without them.
Okay, thank you very much for your time. It was a blast, and congratulations on the new album because it's great. And have fun during other interviews.
All right, thank you very much.
Bye.
Bye.